tonight's an international matchup. Brad Pole from Christchurch in New Zealand up against one of our current national champions in Paddy Rullo. The middleweights ready to take centre stage. This is statistically how they line up, and not a great deal in it. The 4 centimetres in height, the 4 centimetres in reach, and half a kilo, about half a hot dog on the scales. Let's go to Howard.
Thank you, Andy. Ladies and gentlemen, would you welcome to the red corner in the 6 rounds of international middleweight boxing from Christchurch, New Zealand, Brad Pole. P-O-L-E. Oh. Thank you. Would you welcome, ladies and gentlemen, the blue corner. He's a hometown boy from Essendon, Victoria. Big Pat Rullo. Blue corner. Ladies and gentlemen, would you be please upstanding and observe a moment's silence? Please be upstanding and observe silence in respect. Shh. Ladies and gentlemen, New Zealand is very close to Australia in practical terms, and also in boxing, kickboxing. Many of our great warriors, great fights between New Zealanders, Kiwis and Australians in all forms of sport. The young man Brad Pole in the red corner, he was tragically damaged by the Christchurch earthquake, as many Kiwis were. And the Australian boxing family tonight pays tribute with a traditional 10 gong salute, which means may the people who lost their lives rest in peace, and those who are critically and seriously injured have our blessing. Timekeepers at the bell, Chris Anderson and Tom Davis, will now gong the bell 10 times, which means a knockout for our Kiwi brothers and sisters. Thank you. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, introducing in the red corner from Christchurch, New Zealand, the Earthquake City. Ladies and gentlemen, a professional record of 4 fights, 2 wins, 2 losses, 1 inside the distance. Don't be fooled by those losses he's fought. He's lost to 2 great Aussie fighters, Les Piper and Olympian Jared Fletcher. Tipping the scales at 70 kilograms even. Ladies and gentlemen, blue trunks, would you welcome with Team Thompson in the corner, Brad Pole, New Zealand. And across the ring on my left, occupying the blue corner with Ray Giles, legendary coach in the corner, and Lim Checker, the reigning Victorian and Australian Super Welterweight Champion. Not putting those titles on the line tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, at 70.50 kilograms, a professional record of 14 fights, 11 wins, 1 draw, 2 losses. Ladies and gentlemen, wearing black trunks with white, with Tasman, his sponsor, on the front. Would you welcome Victoria's Big Pat Rullo. Referee Malcolm Buller, judges Tony Moretta, Matt Ropus and Anthony Hibbs. 6 rounds of international boxing. Here we go.
Gentlemen, welcome to centering. Good clean fight. Obey my instructions all the time. Shake hands now, come out fighting at the bell. May the best man win. Good luck.
Malcolm, the Raging Bullner, is our referee here. Tony Moretta, Anthony Hibbs and Matty Ropus, our 3 ringside judges. Fight number 2, 6 3-minute rounds at light middleweight, 69.85 kilos, 154 pound or 11 stone flat. If that makes a little more sense to you. Australia versus New Zealand. Brad Pole from Christchurch, New Zealand, in the blue trunks. Pat Rullo from Melbourne, Australia, in the black trunks. Form fighter, quality fighter is the young Aussie. 3-punch combination, all left hands, going up the body, changing levels and doing so nicely.
Yeah, we saw him win the vacant light middleweight title against Jason Konofsky down here in September, and I'm sure he would have learned a lot from that. They went 10 rounds, they fought hard, and I'm sure Pat Rullo would have learnt the best from that.
And many will tell you, controversial decision. There was plenty that thought Jason Konofsky, in fact, should be wearing the title.
Definitely myself. Watching the fight, I thought Jason won, but it was a close contest, and at the end of the day, that's boxing. Sometimes you're going to get some, sometimes you're not. I know Jason's back in action now. He lost a fight just recently to Todd Kidd, but he's got another one coming up against Brad Hemming, so it's good to see him still going. He's not, you know, damaged from a couple of losses for the Australian title.
No, he's a Konofsky. He'll keep fighting.
He's a Heritage City Hurricane, Jason Konofsky.
Saw Lincoln Hudson from the Blacktown Hit Squad a little earlier. Our congratulations go to Brad Pitt, who won in the USA last week. Returns to fight Daniel Aman here for the Aussie Cruiserweight title on our May show. Also on the May show, Justin Whitehead, Michael Kirby for the Australian Heavyweight title, Steve Wills, Solomon Egbarime. May 13, a massive show. We are back here in Melbourne. Speaking of Daniel Aman, last weekend, a win over Walter Papua on a show in Newcastle, headlined by Tui Lavini. Minute remaining, round number 1.
I'll tell you what, Pat Rullo looks a lot bigger and a lot stronger,
doesn't he,
than when I saw him go around last time, as we spoke about Jason Konofsky.
A lot more powerful.
Yeah, definitely, and he's using his angles better, he's digging to the body better. He really looks like he's taken a lot from that fight, and he's brought it to this one. No body fat on him whatsoever. Brad Pole sucking the big ones in pretty early here in round 1.
He certainly is. It's been a difficult round around, very much fought on the back foot. Needs to keep it nice and high here, because when Rullo punches, he does so with bad intention.
Good jab there from Rullo. I think Rullo gets in and he goes left rip, left hook. He got those shots off earlier, and I think he'll be very successful again as Brad Pole lands a left hook of his own.
Final couple of seconds of the opening round. And it was very much a Pat Rullo round. Now, we mentioned Rullo and Jason Konofsky did battle late in the year, and it was at Flemington for the Australian Junior Welterweight title.
That's right, light middleweight, Andy. You see, you can even see the body shape there on Pat Rullo. He looks a lot bigger tonight than he did back then. Very entertaining fight, this one, and could have went either way. Nice right hand there from Rullo. On this night here, Jason used a lot of angles with Pat Rullo, and early on here I saw Pat Rullo using those angles on Brad Pole, and that's, you know, that's becoming a better fighter. You learn from everyone, you know, and it doesn't matter who it is. You listen, you watch, you learn, and you can see Pat Rullo's really used that to his ability.
Ray Giles, the trainer from the St Kilda PCYC, casting his experienced eye over the shoulder there of Paddy Rullo in his 15th pro fight, looking to make it 12 wins, just the one stoppage on the resume of Pat Rullo. One draw as well, so not a power puncher.
Keep walking, keep walking.
Beautiful right hook to the body there from Pat Rullo.
Plenty of urgency in what he's doing, Paddy Rullo here.
Nice grab.
Gee, Brad Pole almost just knocked himself out walking onto that one.
Glove went straight through his mouth now. I think Pat Rullo just gets a little excited on... Oh, nice body shot again. A little excited on the outside. He can be a little bit calmer just to find those shots come off a little bit easier. But he's putting on a great display here early on in the second round. Brad Pole, I'd say his corner team's told him to keep his hands up this round. They're a little bit higher. Emergency. It's for Pat Rullo versus Brad Pole. Try and get Brad Pole out of there. Pat Rullo's on fire.
Yes, the alarms are going off here at the pavilion. You might want to call them teething problems.
Someone's got to let the boys know in the ring they haven't been hit with the big right hand. They're not hurt. The bells aren't ringing in the ears. It's in the building.
I'm looking for Tarek Solak. He might be around here somewhere. Hasn't been playing with matches underneath the fire alarm somewhere.
I'm finding Brian Amatruda or Barry Michael. They got to be the safest two in the house.
That was a first for everything.
A good thing the boys didn't show any worry in the ring. They didn't even blink. They just kept fighting.
Isn't it amazing, the focus? They just completely ignored it. They would have heard it, but they completely ignored it. 60 seconds remaining, round number 2. This is a 6-round journey.
I don't think we'll see 6. We might see 3 maybe.
That said, Paddy Rullo, just the one stoppage victory in 11 victories.
Yeah, I think we'll see number 2 tonight. He looks switched on, he looks big, he looks strong, and Brad Pole, although he's got a big heart, I just think that, you know, he's nearly out of steam already.
Okay, Brad's 2 losses on his record. One was to Jared Fletcher, 2006 Commonwealth Games gold medalist and former PABA middleweight champion. The other one was a 3-round KO loss to Les Diamond Piper, the former Australian Super Middleweight Champion. That was back in September of last year. Of course, we saw Les Piper and Josh Clenshaw headline our February show earlier this year, and Les continued on his winning ways.
Yeah, no shame in losing to those guys. Fletcher's very active at the moment. He's just got a win over Aswin Gabai, a win over Kashif Mumtaz. Now he's got a fight coming up with in WA, Robbie Bryan for the PABA middleweight title once again. So he's very active out there. No shame in losing to him, that's for sure. As we'll jump in and have a look what happened at in between round number 2, and it was Pat Rullo all the way for mine. He got behind the jab, he dug to the body, as you see there. He did a right hook just before that one, and he had full control over what was going on in round number 2.
Also, short, hard, short hooks. Work on the inside. Yeah. Hands are close. Okay. Keep the head moving. Right. So nice and tight the D. Okay. All nice. Right there, nice. Right.
And we continue on between that man, Pat Rullo, and Brad Pole, an international matchup. Australia versus New Zealand. So far, the Aussie flag flying high because it has been, for mine anyway, all Pat Rullo.
Yeah, it's clear winning each round to Pat Rullo so far. Brad Pole's come out and he thought, I'm going to have a dig this round. I'm going to give it everything I got. Credit to him. He's got that fighting Kiwi spirit in him that, you know, all of them have over in Christchurch and New Zealand at the moment in this bad time.
I saw the Crusaders and the Waratahs over there a little earlier on Fox Sports. Of course, you can catch everything on Fox Sports, but the emotion amongst the players, officials, and the crowd there at the over in New Zealand, absolutely astonishing. And our thoughts and our prayers have been and do remain with our Kiwi friends who've been to hell and back over the last fortnight.
Isn't Mother Nature just the cruelest thing going around? We've got the Christchurch earthquake, the floods up in Queensland, the hurricane, the cyclone up in Queensland. It's just been never ending. The floods down here in Victoria, bushfires in WA.
Halfway through round number 3, a 6th rounder. Both been weighing in under the 70 kilos. And a little bit more success here and a few points for the tough Kiwi.
Yeah, he's still getting beat, but he's just come out this round, and there's been a different person from round number 1 and 2 to what we're seeing here. Albeit he's still taking some punishment, but he's having a real dig. Good body shot there from Brad Pole. The Kiwi comes firing on.
It's almost as if he's figured out, okay, things are not going to plan here, and this is going to end quickly. So I'm going to go out and I'm going to start throwing him, and we'll see what happens.
Definitely. Look at him. He's got a different look in his face and all. I dead set thought he was shot. I thought we wouldn't see the end of this round. At this stage, he's nearly even winning this round.
It's still there to be won this round. 45 seconds remaining. Pole in the blue trunks. Rullo in the straight black. Trying to sneak over the top there of that left shoulder was Pat Rullo. Was taken predominantly on the shoulder by Rule.
If I was Rullo, I'd be digging back down to the body like he did in round 2. Try and break Pole down a bit. He looks a little soft around the midsection, and I'd be digging down there, and those hands will keep coming down for him to counteract.
Now, is that a cut eye on Brad Pole? There's a little bit of claret from his nose that Paddy Rullo's...
I think you're right, Eddie. I think there's a little nick up there.
It's just above or just in the eyebrow, and in a pretty average position, it's got to be said.
There's not much blood coming out of it, but he's not in the best spot, that's for sure. Good round, that one. Probably just send it just to Pat Rullo again. What went on in round number 3 here. A much stronger and much more aggressive Brad Pole in round number 3. Pat Rullo had his moments as he used an angle there, coming, dug to the body. That was a much more competitive round.
Line up the front foot, but don't let him win the round. Just keep working on the left end. Understand?
Seconds out.
Here we move into second half of the fight. Malcolm Bullnar says game on. Round number 4 of 6. Once again at light middleweight. Paddy Rullo made his debut all the way back in November of 07. A win just down the road here in Thomastown over Matty Williams. KO in 6, and that has been the only KO since. The only KO in his career.
Matty Williams wasn't a bad fighter. Tough young fighter. He had some tough fights going out against Josh King. He's from up at Woodridge, a shock boxing gym up near my gym. There's a good little fighter, Matty Williams. So that was a pretty good win for Pat Rullo.
2 losses on the resume of Rullo. 1 to Tui Lavini, 1 to Ray Anton Olarte.
The interesting one there, he's the journeyman, Ray Anton Olarte. Yeah. We see him here all day long. The fighter coming up later, Victor Chernos, his only loss is to Ray Anton Olarte.
Amazing.
We saw him get a good win recently on Fox Sports up at Southport as well against Casey Hannon.
Yes, at the end of 2010. And whilst Brad Pole has been dominated here and outpunched and outpowered, tell you what, Paddy Rullo's face is starting to show signs that Brad Pole maybe has fared a little bit better than maybe we've been saying.
Yeah, and as it did against Jason Konoski, he marked up a lot in that fight. And as we're seeing again here, a lot of it would be coming from that punch there, the left hook from Brad Pole. He keeps getting that punch through quite often. Brad Pole's really coming on in the back end of this fight.
Push back there. Rullo ripping to the body with the right hand. Oh, good shot. Now look at Rullo back on the front foot. Pole goes into reverse.
I thought he sensed that he heard Brad Pole to the body there, and he jumped on it, Pat Rullo.
A minute remaining, round number 4. The mouth guard almost out of Pole. Gets attacked to the body again, and changing levels nicely was the current Aussie champ. Oh!
Good shot.
What about that from Brad Pole? Almost a mix of WWE and boxing. He flung himself into the ropes, off the ropes, and with the momentum launched a left hand at the Victorian.
I heard on the boxing grapevine, Andy, I'm not sure if it's true or not, but I heard the former light middleweight champion Tyrone Tongia may be coming back to have a shot at Pat Rullo at some stage throughout the year.
More than just a little bit of gossip. We will talk in depth about that a little bit later on tonight, but I'll whet your appetite simply by saying we have got some amazing shows coming your way on Friday Night Fights. Let's take a look at some domestic rankings while we are here in the junior middleweight, or in the middleweight division. Johannes Tito Mwetchapunga, Daniel Giel, Omar Sheikh, Robbie Bryan, Peter Matrevsky Jr., Les Piper and Jared Fletcher are all there.
Yeah, Johannes Metapunga and Boom Boom Omar Sheikh, they'll meet for the Australian middleweight title April 15, Mansfield Tavern. We'll see it here on Fox Sports.
Seconds out.
We certainly will. If you haven't caught up on the news, our April show, April 15, an Aussie television first with 3 national titles to be contested on the one show. The Aussie lightweight title, Brett W. Smith and Mick Shaw. The Aussie junior welterweight title, Josh King and Jason Crow. And the Aussie middleweight title, Omar Sheikh and Johannes Tito Mwetchapunga. 3 Aussie titles in one night of boxing.
Yeah, an absolute cracker night set up by Angelo DiCarlo and Brian Kerwin. You also see Trent Broadhurst.
Yep.
Aaron Russell, the Junkyard Dog. Ashley Owen Humble, the Baby Old. Corey McConnell. There's heaps up there coming on March and April actually. The card's up in Queensland. I thought that was Brad Pole's best round, that last round. Oh, as he eats a big right hand, and that hurt him.
Didn't it? Right to the body.
That was what I called for earlier in the last round. That Pat Rullo should have been sending it back down to the body. He had success in round number 2, and here we're seeing it in round number 5 again.
Are you scoring as you're going here, Chris? Have you got it 3-1 or?
I've got it 3 rounds to Pat Rullo, and I've got 1 even round. I thought I've got to give credit to Brad Pole last round. I thought he'd come on and he had a real good dig, and I thought that was pretty even the last round. Good jab there from Pat Rullo, and we heard Ray Giles in the corner asking him to get that jab working a little bit more earlier on.
Geez, he winds up. It looks $1,000,000. Pat Rullo ripping into the body. I think it's testament to just how fit, how strong, and how tough Brad Pole is.
Yeah, definitely. He just comes firing back with a left hook. Look at his hands down, walk up. He's trying to intimidate Pat Rullo.
He wants to fight. He doesn't want to skip, jump and move around. He wants to stand there and throw. Both fire simultaneously there.
Pushes him off. The poleaxe, Brad Pole, just comes firing onto Pat Rullo.
I think the poleaxe, in fact, fancies his chances in the closing couple of rounds. I think he figures he's got momentum with him.
Definitely. The start of that round, he looked in trouble again with those body shots from Rullo. Oh, as he eats a good right hand. But this end, going on to the end of the round, he's come firing back again. This is what happened in round number 4.
There's a red river from the nose of Paddy Rullo.
Give him a bucket, give him a bucket, get off straight.
It is leaking.
Step back.
Watch out for your dinner ringside.
I'll tell you, the poleaxe, he looks like a Jaffa at the moment as well. I'm that hungry, I'll eat that.
He does look. Leave us balding blokes alone.
Sorry, Andy, but talking of balding, Andy, I have got one of the best things. I'm going through the paper up in Queensland.
Yeah.
I'll come back to this. It's a good story.
Tumble. Come on. Brad Paul, Pat Rullo.
Look at that car out of his nose. Round number 5. Beautiful body shots from Pat Rullo early on in this round. This is early in the round, and he had Brad Pole in a little bit of trouble, but it spurred Brad Pole on. You'll see later in the round, Brad Pole comes firing back. There it is with the left hook.
Issues in the Pat Rullo corner. Dr. Peter Lewis was just in taking a look. There's a hole in the nose, basically. There's a hole in the nose. That's why so much blood.
Last time we saw that with Dominic Bay versus Oscar Ciali, that was a bloodbath.
And this is it, the 6th and final round at light middleweight. Brad Pole and Pat Rullo. Brad Pole in the blue trunks, Pat Rullo in the black.
Oh, credit to Brad Pole, because I honestly didn't think he was going to be here at this stage of the fight. I got Pat Rullo in front, but Brad Pole is just credit to him, hats off to him. He's just been there the whole fight trying, and he come back in round 4 and 5, and I'm sure we'll see the same enthusiasm in round number 6. Now Andy up in Queensland, I'm going through the paper up there, and I flick over and I'm like, what is Andy Raymond doing in the Courier Mail up here?
Yeah, this is a carve up.
I didn't realise it was Piggy Riddell, Mark Piggy Riddell. Dead set, the most identical pair I've ever seen, and you wouldn't have wanted to take Piggy Riddell home to your house, because Mrs. Raymond would have been throwing glasses at Mr. Raymond thinking something went on a few years ago.
Sadly, the Raymond Riddell look-alike thing has been going on for too many years. He's come back from England with a haircut like mine, so it'll probably continue on.
Well, you come back from Thailand with a haircut like his, I reckon he thinks. Back to the real action. Brad Pole looks for a rest on the ropes. Ooh, a little low there from Pat Rullo.
Interesting there, Pat Rullo just didn't move, did not budge, did not engage, did not follow, just stood there. So Brad Pole back against the ropes and had to move his way back out into it.
Nice and leisurely, yeah. But I think Pat Rullo's, he's just ahead in this fight, no doubt. And I just maybe thought, no need for me to chase after him, as we see the same thing happen again there.
Trying to get over the top of that left shoulder. He's used it well defensively, has Brad Pole.
Yes.
Although getting beaten, he's used that left shoulder probably more than his forearms and more than any evasive tactics.
That's just experienced. There's some nice colour coming out of Pat Rullo's nose now.
It's red, very.
Look at Brad Pole.
Brad
just
Pole
walking him down.
Doesn't want to slip a punch, doesn't want to try and slip a punch, doesn't want to move the feet, just wants to walk through and keep launching. 30 seconds remaining in the fight.
He's going to headbutt the punches and just keep on trotting after Pat Rullo. Pat Rullo knows he's ahead and he's working on the back foot, probably protecting his nose a little bit. Oh, beautiful left hook there from the pole wax. Oh, and again.
Where was this shot? A little bit earlier. Brad Pole dominating the last 30 seconds of what has been an entertaining fight here at light middleweight.
If there was a hole in Pat Rullo's nose going into that round, the rest of it's on the canvas. Massive heart shown there from Brad Pole. Great work from Pat Rullo. Really good fight.
An emotional night for that young man, Brad Pole, as we said in the lead up, from Christchurch, New Zealand. Born there, lives there, and it's been tough, real tough for Brad, his team, their families and supporters. And young man, you may not get a victory here tonight in the land down under, but you can jump back aboard the plane tomorrow with your head held high. You've done an excellent job.
Yeah, well, he showed that fighting spirit coming out of Christchurch, that's for sure.
A little bit of what we saw, and those left hooks at the end of the fight, they were something quite special from Brad Pole. There was the first one.
Good jab.
Then straight with it again.
Got a bit of Pat Rullo's nose on the end of it, I think. Good performance there from Pat Rullo.
Yeah, we spoke about Pat Rullo and suggestions of what might be in his future. I can tell you June 3rd, our show in the middle of Rugby League's interstate showpiece, the State of Origin, is a State of Origin based night in the ring in Brisbane. It's New South Wales versus Queensland on the undercard, but our main event for the Aussie Junior middleweight title, the man we've just seen, Pat Rullo, and Tyrone Tongia. That's June 3rd. Let's make this one official. Let's head to Howard.
Thank you, Andy. Okay, both fighters come to centre ring for a decision. Judges Tony Moreno, Anthony Hibbs and Matt Ropus all had the same opinion. Judge Tony Moreno had it 59-55. Anthony Hibbs and Matt Ropus both had the same score totals, 60-54. Unanimous points winner, blue corner, Big Pat Rullo.
Unanimous decision for Pat Rullo. A good victory, nonetheless, a good performance from Brad Pole. This is what is still to come on